Since I was a young student, I have always dreamed of having my own business. The inspiration started when I visited a classmate's house and witnessed his father's flexibility to come home from work whenever he pleased. Over the years, my motivation has evolved, but my desire to run my own business has only grown stronger. By the time I reached 35, I had established a relatively successful construction company. After completing several small projects, we were fortunate enough to secure a significant government contract. Initially, the project seemed nearly impossible given the tight deadlines. However, the potential profit and the opportunity to showcase our company's capabilities made it an appealing endeavor. Determined to succeed, my team and I set aside personal matters, vacations, and celebrations to focus on the task at hand. I encouraged my team to work diligently, reminding them that if we put in the effort now, the rewards would follow. As the leader of the company, the bulk of the responsibility fell on my shoulders. Not only did I have to manage a demanding workload, but I also lacked an electrician within my team at the time. For the 4 months leading up to the project's completion, I consistently worked until late evening and rarely had a free weekend. It was evident that my absence took a toll on my wife. Acknowledging her concerns, I reassured her that I would always find time for her and other important aspects of our lives. She questioned when I would have time, suggesting it might only be at night. I responded by reminding her of the recent Saturday we spent at the skating rink and the upcoming plans to go shopping together. I assured her that I would dedicate an entire weekend morning to fulfill any necessary obligations, and that work-related matters could wait until lunchtime. Nonetheless, she contemplated scenarios where she might need my presence for an entire day or even 2 consecutive days. Sensing her frustration, I emphasized that my current dedication was an investment in our future. I highlighted the sacrifices made by other families, where husbands often go abroad for months to secure such earnings. In comparison, my presence at home each day, albeit late, should be appreciated. While she appeared upset, she understood the importance of the project and reluctantly accepted the circumstances. I embraced her, soothing both of us. However, each day, the tension between us seemed to escalate. I could sense Marina's struggle to contain her frustration, especially when I asked her to prepare my meals for work. Gradually, her discontent began to surface. As someone I trusted, I started to judge her actions, even though I understood her perspective as a woman. "It seems like you have a friend living near your workplace, am I right?" Marina questioned me. It took me a moment to grasp the true meaning behind her words, and I responded as if it were true. "Well, yes, Andrew and Natasha live in the neighboring area." "I see, so Andrei works at night, and you visit Natasha," she accused. Those words hit me like a blow to the head. I'm ashamed to admit that, due to overwork, nervous tension, and stress, I lost control. "How dare you?" I snapped. I'm exhausted, longing for sleep every moment, yet I still force a smile and accompany you to meaningless events. My legs tremble from exhaustion, and yet you fail to appreciate that I don't complain or disregard your interests. Have you ever considered how I feel? I stormed off, slamming the living room door, and made the couch my bed for the night. For an entire week, we communicated through curt, business-like sentences. However, after 10 days of this strained interaction, I realized that I valued our family more than my wounded pride. Determined to reconcile, I sent Marina a letter placed on her pillow, along with a postcard inviting her to dinner. Additionally, I left a small box containing a pair of earrings, hoping she would wear them that evening. My plan worked, and we made amends, albeit briefly. At some point, I noticed that my wife began to call me more frequently at work. Whenever possible, I would answer, but there were instances when my hands were occupied with delicate tasks, preventing me from being interrupted. Nevertheless, I always made sure to call her back promptly and provide a detailed report on my availability. One day, while I was at work, Marina called me to clarify some details and ask when I would be back. I informed her that I would be working until 8 p.m. Later on, I heard the phone call again, but I couldn't immediately answer as I was stuck in a busy department. After about half an hour or so, I finally had the chance to return her call. Marina seemed surprised, asking where I was and posing some strange questions. Suddenly, I realized that I could hear an echo coming from outside the window. It turned out that there were teenagers passing by with a portable speaker, playing loud music. I could hear the same tune through both the window and the phone. It was an unbelievable coincidence, but there was no denying it. Curiously, I cautiously asked Marina, "Where are you? What's that sound?" As I quickly made my way down the stairs and towards the building's exit. "I'm out at the store," she replied, recognizing the street noise on her end of the call. I opened the door and took a few steps towards the road. About 10 meters away, I spotted Marina. Irritated, I asked her, "And how far is your store from home?" Wondering if it was near the subject of my annoyance. She looked around, and at some point, our gazes met. "What do you care?" she rudely retorted before abruptly ending the call, turning her back to me and walking away. It became apparent that Marina had absolutely no trust in me. Instead of considering any other possibilities, she immediately jumped to conclusions about me having a mistress and rushed to investigate. I have no idea how she thought she could find me in such a large building. The motives behind her actions and who she was trying to prove something to remain a mystery. After that incident, our family life took a nosedive. We constantly interrupted and hurt each other, sulked, and went days without speaking. With the project deadline looming, tension grew, but thankfully, my determination and the efforts of my team paid off. We managed to overcome the challenges. The day after the project was handed over, I felt an immense sense of relief. Now I had to confront the issue of my relationship with my wife. I made an effort to empathize with her and forgive her, but she seemed uninterested in talking or resolving our problems. This deeply saddened me because I loved her so much and desperately wanted our feelings to be mutual. Just when I was about to head home, my colleagues from the brigade approached me, declaring, "We've been working like horses, and you've been working like hundreds of horses. We all need a break." They insisted on taking me to the best sauna they had booked for us. Despite my hesitation, they did not listen, and we ended up at the sauna. I must admit, their idea was truly appreciated. After days of enduring the cold, hunger, and hard labor, my body rejoiced with pleasure. A few sips of alcohol further helped me relax. As we discussed our future plans, one of my friends mentioned, "The future is important, but let's talk about the very immediate future. The girls will be here in a few minutes." Confused, I asked, "What girls?" He replied, "Come on, don't be naive. You know exactly what kind of girls come to a boys' sauna." Everyone nodded as if it were obvious except me. I'd realized I was the only one in the dark about their intentions. Frustrated, I exclaimed, "You idiots! You're all married, and Tema has a girlfriend." They simply shrugged and said, "Relax. Who's going to find out? Besides, this is for you." Angry, I started yelling at them, "Go to hell, all of you." As the silhouette of the first girl appeared in the doorway, I decided I had enough. I gathered my clothes to leave and politely said to the girl, "I'm sorry, but I need to go home right away." To my surprise, her voice was all too familiar. "I'm so happy to see you," Marina said, leaving me stunned. I looked around and noticed that the guys had their wives with them. Marina smiled at me, and that evening turned out to be a pleasant one, ending on a positive note. Thanks to my colleagues who helped me reconcile with my wife and rebuild our family life.